All right, family, what's going on? Peace, peace, peace. It's your brother King Cam. I'm trying to set up my new eCam. So I'm in the process of adding all my intros back and all that kind of stuff. So not set up how it was before. So just give your brother a minute. Let me do that. Okay, cool. That's what I'm looking for.
Any leadership that teaches you to depend upon another race is a leadership that will enslave you. Any leadership that teaches you to depend upon another race is a leadership that will enslave you. They gave leadership to our foreparents, and that leadership made them slaves. But we have decided to find a leadership of our own.
Not your average nigga, I'm a guy out the hood. They can't downplay me. I came up, I'm elevated. I ain't gotta say too much for them to know I'm coming for what's mine. You know they see me in my presence, say they see how I'm coming. Young, but you not just gonna finesse me like you did my peoples. Then back when you said they was emancipated. This ain't that. Your head too big, you feeling yourself. The game wasn't fair, you had the advantage, we wasn't educated. I don't look at you people the same. Nah. Your worst nightmare, my skin tone about them chains. Yeah. Not no circus lion, son, I can't be tamed. You gon' have to kill me, pussy, Toby ain't my name. Y'all still want us think our history started when we were slaves? What? Come on now, talk about them pyramids we made. I was chosen by that man, you know y'all just been running game. The nerve of you acting like I ain't.
What's going on, family? What is going on? This is your brother King Cam and host of the Campaign TV Show podcast. Family, I do apologize for the technical difficulties at the beginning of the show. As I mentioned, I switched computers, so I had to hook up a new keyboard and just log out of my old eCam, log back in and everything. So I got to set all of my stuff back up. So it's not set up how it was before, so I'm in the process of fixing that. And yeah, so we'll get it together though. For anyway, I appreciate y'all for tuning in. And tonight, I know it's late, so shout out to everybody who's tapping in. If you hit the comment section, let me know what city and state that you're tuning in from, family. Let me know what city and state you are tuning in from. I actually rearranged my whole podcast situation because I got a new monitor right here, which is and a new computer that I'm using, which will help everything move a lot faster. Before, the laptop I was on, my laptop was struggling, family. I had the struggle laptop. You feel me? I had the struggle laptop. So it was lagging, all of that kind of stuff. So I had to switch it up. So I appreciate everybody for tuning in tonight. Again, hit the comment section. Let me know what city and state that you're tuning in from so that we can shout you out for sure. But tonight, what I wanted to briefly discuss was, the major headline story that's been all over the news. As you know, our brother Tyre Nichols was beaten by police in Memphis, Tennessee, back on January the 7th of 2023, earlier this year, and ultimately ended up passing away January the 10th of 2023. And just a few days ago, last week, they released the body cam footage from what happened, as well as footage from across the street, I believe, that showed a wide angle of what took place. And, if you saw the footage, then you know what it was. If you saw the footage, then you know what it was, family. So tonight, though, I want to discuss the what are your thoughts as far as this being white supremacy, and what does white supremacy have to do with this? Because I've been looking at all of the news. I've been looking at all the reports. I've been kind of listening to some of the commentary as well. And I purposely did not come out and say anything about this until the Final Call newspaper was released. And I had an opportunity to read the article of the Final Call newspaper. And that's very important because I wanted to get an understanding of where everything stood. Because a lot of times when things come out, especially once you hear about a story, it hits social media. Then once it hits social media, all of the people with platforms and podcasts and all of that kind of stuff, they start putting out content immediately about what happened. They start putting out commentary right when it happened before they're able to gather all of the information and gather all of the facts. So I wanted to wait until boots was on the ground. I wanted to wait until people was able to speak to the family. People was able to speak to the residents of the community, for, a city officials to come out and speak, and for the chief of police to come out and speak, and all these different things, so that we have a whole collection of facts before we give commentary on this particular situation. So I wanted to wait on the final call to come out. So the article of the final call has come out. I need you to hit that like button, family. I need you to hit that like button. And actually, let me go ahead and do this. Since we already turned up and out on this, what I'm about to do is I'm about to go ahead and do some and share this out to a couple of people as well, family. So as we sharing this out, I'm going to go ahead and drop some music by my brother Ben X, and then we're going to jump back into the content, all right? So here is some music by my brother Ben X. It's called 400 Years. Y'all tap in. Oh, my bad. Wrong button.
You don't tell the white man that you're willing to go back and cut no underbrush. We already did that once. If we have to do it again, that's not progress. Hell no. Get out of the cities and the towns that we helped you build. Go and find some other state to move in. You move out, we move in. Now wait a minute. You say, oh, come on, Farrakhan, that's a pipe dream. Well, damn, you better put it in your pipe then.
400 years we've been lacking reacting. Ain't no more lacking reacting. We standing up now, we up at it, we at you. Now I go get it and stack it. Waking up now, we don't need no more trapping. Cause we know these niggas acting. They talk about guns, we know that they capping. We know they got it all rapping. 400 years we've been lacking reacting. Ain't no more lacking reacting. We standing up now, we up at it, we at you. Now I go get it and stack it. Waking up now, we don't need no more trapping. Cause we know these niggas acting. They talk about guns, we know that they capping. We know they got it all rapping. The youth don't need a stunt double. Introduce them to the real thing. Gotta tell them about the hidden hand. Real talk, that's the real bang. Introduce you to the white man. Think you made it, that's the real pain. Then I let you see a white snake and you can't see they the same thing. Get your bread, yeah, build your business. Hidden hand in the same lane. Keep a slaves in a small cell. Tell a young nigga bang bang. Shoot first, ask questions later. Two brothers in the same game. Fuck that like fuck crack. Big dog like a Great Dane. 400 years we've been lacking reacting. Ain't no more lacking reacting. We standing up now, we up at it, we at you. Now I go get it and stack it. Waking up now, we don't need no more trapping. Cause we know these niggas acting. They talk about guns, we know that they capping. We know they got it all rapping. 400 years we've been lacking reacting. Ain't no more lacking reacting. We standing up now, we up at it, we at you. Now I go get it and stack it. Waking up now, we don't need no more trapping. Cause we know these niggas acting. They talk about guns, we know that they capping. We know they got it all rapping. 400 years in a living hell. Break chains, gotta break free. Do for self like Elijah said. Fire him before he fire me. Eat good, heat the man of God. Ain't falling for the vaccine. Up late, playing plotting freedom. Still building, no caffeine. Better tune in to Farrakhan. Cause this here is a marathon. Build now, getting real now. Witness the fall of Babylon. Black man, you the first man. Getting tricked by mankind. If we unite and rise up, we'll win every damn time. 400 years we've been lacking reacting. Ain't no more lacking reacting. We standing up now, we up at it, we at you. Now I go get it and stack it. Waking up now, we don't need no more trapping. Cause we know these niggas acting. They talk about guns, we know that they capping. We know they got it all rapping. 400 years we've been lacking reacting.
Yeah.
Ain't no more lacking reacting. We standing up now, we up at it, we at you.
Now I go get it and stack it.
Waking up now, we don't need no more trapping. Cause we know these niggas acting. They talk about guns, we know that they capping. We know they got it all rapping.
Pay me for my pain.
Yeah, pay me for my tears. Pay me reparations for all 400 years.
All my people
Yeah.
struggled and all my people feel.
Yeah.
And now we come and taking everything while we give.
It's yeah, family. 400 years. Shout out my brother Ben X. 400 years, family. That's that track right there. Man, and look, I had been trying to figure out how you share out the videos back to those groups that I used to be in on Facebook. And Facebook had changed the whole way you do it. So I literally had to go through and figure out how you do it again. So hopefully now that'll help out as well with just getting as many people in here as possible. So I did my did what I said I was going to do as far as sharing it out, family. So those who are tuning in, I need you to hit the like button. I need you to subscribe to the YouTube channel. I need you to follow the Facebook page, follow the Instagram page, and I need you to send this out to as many people as possible. Tweet it out, share it out, all of that good stuff. So look, all right. So now back to what we was talking about with our brother Tyre Nichols, because I've been seeing all of the commentary, and I want to pull up this article. Let me pull this up right here. All right, because I think this is important for us to gauge and understand. I think this is important for us to gauge and understand. Okay, so this right here is pretty much, hold on, let me scroll down. Is this the full one? Okay, so this is not the one that I wanted to show. Hold on. Because I wanted to show the news article that had all of those brothers. Matter of fact, let me just do this. They might show this. Boom, news. Because if y'all have been following this, then y'all seen basically all of the news articles. They have all of the same picture. They got the 5 black officers on it. And they got the 5 black officers on there. All right. Matter of fact, if I do this. Keyboard been acting kind of slow too. Okay, here we go. So here we go. Maybe this is a good one. What I'm trying to show. Okay. All right, yeah. So this what it is. So this is what we've been seeing all over the internet. This is what we've been seeing all over the internet. Outside of my man's right here, they just added him. And that's what I wanted to highlight. The fact that they just added the white boy. Because originally, he was not a part of this particular picture. All you saw was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The 5 black officers, right? Who beat our brother. So what we not about to do is apologize for their role in this whole situation. Now, of course, you know, we have a platform where we support our people, we defend our people. But what we saw Memphis PD, a.k.a. the Scorpion Unit, do to our brother Tyre Nichols is totally unacceptable. Completely and totally unacceptable. And we have to make sure that we have just the amount of energy that we have for white officers that do this to black people. We have to also have the same amount of energy for black officers and make sure that they are held accountable for doing this to our brother as well. And the reason being is because, as the minister has said, we have become the greatest enemy to ourselves. We've become the greatest enemy to ourselves. And this also has to be called out, because at a certain point, we're going to have to demonstrate that this is not going to be allowed. We're going to have to demonstrate at a certain point, family, that this is not going to be allowed. So because you suffer from self-hate, which most of our community does not give you the green light to let off on somebody that looks like you. Brother Tyre Nichols was a black man just like these 5 black men were as well. And it's no excuse for these brothers that had beat this man the way that they beat this man. And it's on camera. So that is something that we want to see here. But you notice, like I said, you notice that this picture, though, this picture is the main picture that they was putting all over social media and all over the news. Memphis police fire another officer in Nichols' death. So this is when they added the white boy. But they didn't add the white boy until after social media pressure told them to add the white boy. Because the camera, remember now, the camera, if you look at the camera, it shows his hand. It shows the white hand in there. Literally and figuratively. The white hand is in the camera. It's in the picture. Most of the times we refer to that as the hidden hand, but it wasn't so hidden in this situation. So, but it wasn't until after social media pressure, they decided to throw him into the mix, because at first they were just parading around the 5 black people. Now, what I don't want to happen, family, is for them to now try and make these 5 black officers the face of police brutality. Because what we not about to do is absolve all of the whites who are complicit in police brutality, who have been knowing these type of things that have been going on, have been a part of these type of things. And yet either no charges were brought, nothing ever happened to them at all, or they was not found guilty. Remember now, even though George Zimmerman was not a part of the police department, he still was never found guilty. So you have to understand what's going on. So we can't allow them to have these brothers as the new face of police brutality. Because what's going to happen is they're going to now use this as an opportunity to say, well, police brutality isn't a race issue. Police terrorism isn't something that's racial, because look, those are 5 black officers that beat that brother down over there, that beat that boy down, that man down over there. So it's not a race issue. This is a police issue. It is a police issue, but the problem is that racism undergirds the police issue. See, the blue wall, the blue fraternity is undergirded by white supremacy. Let's not forget that. The blue wall is undergirded by white supremacy. Let's not forget that. Let's not forget that. All right? I want you to hear me. We're not going to let them escape like that. Now, do those brothers in Memphis need to be held accountable? Absolutely. Absolutely. But we're not about to allow the mainstream media to turn 5 black faces into the face of police terrorism, where we know white supremacy is the face of police terrorism. And all these brothers is white supremacy and black skin. I'm going to say that again. I'm going to say that again because all these brothers are a white supremacy or white supremacists in black face, in black skin. See, and this is the problem with integration. This is the whole reason why the most honorable Elijah Muhammad said that integration is a trick and was a trick, because it tricked our people into believing that they will be accepted into this society, which we have not. And not only has it tricked our people to believe that we have been accepted, but on top of that, it has continued our learning from a evil and wicked teacher. See? Remember now, we did not come here of our own volition. We didn't come here on our own. We didn't pick up from West Africa one day and say, you know what, I'm going to go check out America. See? That was not how that went. We came here under the arm of those who wanted to make us slaves. That's how we got here. Okay? So because we got here in that fashion, and because they cut off all of our ability to know who we are, because they cut off our ability of our origin, our language, our religion, our God, everything that we knew prior to slavery, they cut it off. And when they cut it off and started us over with what their ideology was, what their God was, with their culture and their norms and their all of their different things about their way, they taught us. So they have become our teacher and have been our teachers for 400 years. Well, guess what? They didn't like us to begin with and only thought that we were property. So they did a myriad of different violent things towards property. And anytime there was any group of us who wanted to escape, who wanted to get away, who wanted to go into freedom, there was other groups of us who did not want to disturb the apple cart. Is that right? There was another group of us who did not want to disturb what they had good. Some of us had made it out of the field and into the big house. I'm just going to keep it real. Some of us had made it out of the field and into the big house. Some of us was able to drive the master around in this nice car. So we didn't have it as hard as the field slaves continued to have it. And because of that, when the field slaves decided they was going to stand up, when the field slaves decided they was going to rebel against the master, the house Negroes said, no, don't mess up what we got going on, because what the master's going to do is going to punish the field Negroes and the house Negroes, because the field Negroes decided they wanted to leave. Because the field Negroes decided they wanted to rebel, he going to punish all of us. So we don't need that pressure over here. We don't need that headache. We don't got time for that. So please, you need to sit down. That caused the rift between the two. You understand? That caused the rift between the house Negro and the field Negro. So therein lies that self-hate. There was so many other things that was going on too, between the dark skin and the light skin and all of this type of stuff that they had going on, right? That would continue to feed self-hate and all of that. But I'm just specifically honing in on this particular part of it, the development of the self-hate, which led to what we saw happen to Tyre Nichols right here in 2023. Because that was not only just a beating. Not only was that a terrible and horrible and despicable beating of a black person, of a black man, of a father, of a brother, of a son, but that was a self-hatred fueled beating. You understand? That was a self-hatred fueled beating from Negroes who are black on the outside and white on the inside, and have a hate for themselves so deeply rooted that this brother, whatever was going on, triggered in them such violence and such rage that they could care less if they was being recorded, but they just beat that brother down to a pulp. And all of that is because of the self-hate that they had for themselves. They didn't hate brother Tyre as as the main situation. They really hate themselves, and they allowed the slave master that had reared them up in that mentality to hate their brother, to hate themselves. See, when they came in under that blue fraternity, behind that blue wall, they thought they was going to be able to, assimilate themselves in a way and start to take on the culture. And that's what you see going on. You got blackface, white supremacy, and blackface running around police departments now. You already got whiteface and white supremacists running around. They run the police department, but now you got black ones. So I want to read this article of the Final Call newspaper. If you haven't got the latest issue of the Final Call, then you want to go ahead and grab that. All right? You want to go ahead and grab that. Listen, family, if you're just tuning in, it's your brother, King Cam. This is a campaign TV show. What I need you to do is I need you to hit the like button. If you tapped in from YouTube, if you're on Facebook, I need you to hit the like button. Subscribe. I need you to share. I need you to follow all the platforms, family. We talking about Tyre Nichols, right? We talking about the beating of our brother Tyre Nichols, and was it white supremacy? Because it was 5 black officers. So, a lot of the narrative is being switched over to it not being a racist problem with the police, because Tyre Nichols was actually beaten by 5 black officers. And I'm humbly submitting to you that it's definitely a race problem still within the core of these police departments, because white supremacy is what founded these police departments. Slave patrol is what founded these police departments. White supremacy and the hatred of black people is what founded these police departments. So now what you're seeing is the fruit of that tree. What you seeing is the fruit of that tree manifest itself in black skin now. See, the minister, once he broke it down off the teaching that the white man is the devil, when you understand a devil, one who is rebellious to God, that's not exclusive to just the white man or the Caucasian. That could be a black person. That could be a Hispanic person. That could be an Asian person. That can be any person who is rebellious to God. Huh? It could be anybody. So what you looked at on that tape of what happened to our brother Tyre Nichols was 5 black devils. All right? So, anyways, getting fired up, family. Appreciate y'all for tuning in. All right, so now let's get to this article at the Final Call newspaper. I appreciate everybody who's watching right now. I need you to share this out. I need you to like, subscribe, and share. So let me pull this article. And also comment in the comment section what city and state that you tuning in from. I'd love to know who's watching and where they watching from. All right. City and state, family. Let me know what city and state you tuned in from. So let me make this full screen real quick. All right, cool. So, boom. Enough is enough. Now, this is the Final Call newspaper. If you have not gotten your latest issue, you need to tap in with the brothers on this right here. But local activists demand justice after release of Tyre Nichols beating video. A 6th police officer from the Memphis Police Department was relieved of duty in the aftermath of the brutal assault and death of Tyre Nichols. The graphic nature of the beating of the young black man has sparked outrage, anger, sadness, and demands for immediate justice and for accountability for all parties. Even law enforcement officers and paramedics who actively participated or stood by while Mr. Nichols was beaten and severely injured. Justice for Tyre signs waved across the gloomy skies of downtown Memphis as community organizers marched to demand the dismantling of unjust law enforcement. The non-violent demonstrations held January 28th emerged in the wake of the released body camera footage of the beating death of Tyre Nichols at the hands of Memphis police. So there was demonstrations that took place in Memphis and all over the nation as the body camera footage was released on January the 28th, family. Now, I don't encourage anybody to go watch that footage, but we know what it is. If you study history, you know what it is. We've seen, violent acts carried out against black people, specifically black men, for decades, 400 plus years. We got a history record of it. So one of my things was I was not going to share this video. Now, I seen a lot of platforms pushing this video out. It's a lot of platforms that was pushing this video out. I refuse to push that video out on my platform because I said, no, we're not sharing no more black trauma across social media. Not like that. The footage was put out on mainstream media. Some social media outlets that are, media companies or media sites, black news sites and things like that, they released the footage. But I wasn't going to release the footage on that. The pictures were enough. And everybody who needed to see the footage saw the footage. So but the thing is not to continue to share the black trauma and talk about how bad it is. We need to start having conversations, family, about solutions to what we're going to do to prevent this from happening in the future. Because that's what we have to get to. And if that's not the mindset of figuring out solutions on how we're going to prevent this from happening again, then all of the protests, all of the demonstrations, all of the crying, all of the tears is all in vain if we're not working towards solutions. All right? It's all in vain if we're not working towards solutions. So that was the article from the Final Call newspaper. So, and it talked about, let me do this. All right. So it says protesters who appeared in front of the Memphis Public Safety Building, the Memphis Fire Department, the Shelby County Jail, and the Shelby County Justice Center called for defunding the police department and the implementation of a new community policing program. I am so in for and down for community policing programs. We need to be working on that as an active solution within our community. There's nothing going to get right about this if we leave it solely to police departments. It's not going to work. There needs to be conversations that are had with police departments, police chiefs, county sheriffs, and unions, police unions. There has to be constant communication there. It's us in the communities that's going to allow this to be. All right, it's going to be us in the community that are intricate in the development of solutions that help us come to a different outcome. I'm going to say that again. It's us in the community that's going to be responsible for a different outcome of this. All right, family? So we have to get from behind our computers. We have to get active in our community. We have to start showing up to town hall meetings. See, I know I have started to get a lot more active in my particular community and where I stay. I know what district I'm in. I know who's my district commissioner. I go on the county website and find out when the meetings are. I put them in my phone. See, I'm getting active because now I have to start showing my face to let them know that I'm a concerned citizen. I have to start voicing my opinion so they can know that it's somebody out here who is speaking on behalf of the people. So that's what I'm doing in my community. We have to start doing it all across our communities as well, because this is how change is going to be inspired. So as you see and read through this article, it talks about what happened to our brother, Tyre Nichols. And as you can see, our brother Benjamin Crump is on the front lines with the family and things like that, right? So this article was powerful, but even more so, let me get to what the minister said in his article. So if you haven't got the Final Call, man, there's so much beautiful information in here. Shout out to the Final Call newspaper, man, and the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan for publishing such a beautiful paper, because there's so much stuff in here that you need to know, family. Look, volunteers in the Nation of Islam, community groups help in Selma, right? So you got that information. We got the information about the jab in here, you know, different things like that. All this information that you need to be aware of, because as you know, and this is just a sidebar, it's so much that's been coming out about this. It's so much that's been coming out about this and how they lied to the people. Oh, no, you need to make sure that you got a Final Call. So you need to make sure you're getting all of this right here. See? All this news you could use. See? Go ahead and start to equip yourself with the truth. So when people ask questions, or you could start talking to your family about this, bring this up at Sunday dinners and things like that, because it's important information to know. But also, all right, you got the international piece in here too, you know. But the minister has an article right here, and it's in the middle of every Final Call newspaper. It's like it's the middle article, centerfold. Okay, so here's the minister's article, the intensifying universal cry for justice. I'm gonna go over here where the minister gets into the demand for justice. Let me get over here, scoot on over here, right here, because the minister started breaking this down. Having some issues. Okay, here we go. So the minister is breaking this down right here, and he says, the cry, I want to focus in on this piece right here. The cry of the human family in demand of justice with 100% dissatisfaction, what power will bring about 100% change? God's world is in need of a truth that will set up a government where everybody can live in peace under real freedom, real justice, and real equality. Christian family, you pray for it every Sunday and even through the week. You don't pray for this world, but you say, thy kingdom come, thy will be done. The will of God is not being done today in any country, including the holiest places of Christianity and Islam and Judaism. So we can go from Jerusalem to Mecca to Medina to Rome to wherever you think is a holy place. It has been defiled. And those of us who think we are holy because we like to put on robes and strut like peacocks in front of the ignorant as though we are holy. You have never been holy. Even if you tried, you haven't. So let us disabuse ourselves of the arrogance of self-righteousness and the hypocrisy of it. There is none righteous. No, not one. That's what the book says. So the minister is letting us know that because of the dissatisfaction on the planet Earth, it has not only been dissatisfactory within our country, but it's been dissatisfactory all over the world. The minister said, the will of God is not being done today in any country, including the holiest places of Christianity, Islam, and Judaism. So in all of the places you think is sacred, holy land has been defiled, as the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan said. Nobody's doing the will of God today, and that's a problem. And that is one of the high-level pictures of what you see matriculating down into Memphis, is because of the society has degraded and defiled itself such to a a human that has degenerated itself to the point of not even caring about life. So this is what you see happening in our communities and our neighborhoods all across the nation. You see a lack of value of human life. Because if these officers had valued human life, they would not have allowed this to get to the extent that it got to. You would not beat a human being to the extent that you beat them if you value human life. You would not do these type of things to other people if you value human life. You would not kill, you would not beat, you would not rape, and you would not pillage other human beings if you value human life. But there's no value of human life. Why? Because the will of God is not being done on no place on this planet Earth right now. The minister's getting into it, family. I need you to make sure that you're tuning in. All right. So listen, as we continue, the minister says that if this were God's world, there wouldn't be 100% dissatisfaction. Trouble is breaking out in all of the countries and America, the land of the free and the home of the slave, as well as the brave. I'm going to say it again. Trouble is breaking out in all the countries and America, the land of the free and the home of the slave, as well as the brave. There's trouble in Ferguson. Trouble in St. Louis, trouble in Chicago, trouble in New York, trouble everywhere you look. Trouble in Memphis, trouble in Cleveland, trouble in Baltimore, trouble in Texas. Everywhere you look is trouble, because justice is not where we look. It's injustice that's the order of the day. And this is what you see going on, family. This is why you see the people in these cities rising up, America. I'm going to let you know something. The people are rising up because, as the most honorable Elijah Muhammad said, that 100% dissatisfaction brings about 100% change. The people are 100% dissatisfied. The people are not satisfied with the government. The people are not satisfied with the leadership. And because they are dissatisfied, now there has to be a power that comes up backing the people in their feelings and their emotions that cause them to rise up in a way that creates change, and that's going to change the dissatisfied to 100% satisfaction, family. So the minister goes into it more. He said that injustice is the order of the day. Not justice, but injustice is the order of the day. 7 billion people on our planet are upset, angry, and dissatisfied with those who lead and govern the lives and the institutions that have been put into place by various governments to govern lives of the people of the earth. See, this is not only just particular individuals that's acting out. So for all the white people who try to isolate and try to compartmentalize and say it was just these 5 bad apples, it was just these 6 bad apples, it was just that bad apple in the police department or that bad apple in the police department. No, ma'am. No, sir. This is a systemic issue that is rooted at the root of institutions and governments and leaderships, and that's all being fueled and fostered by white supremacy. It's all being fueled and fostered by white supremacy, family. This is why devil mindset, rebellion against God, rebellion against the will of God. This is what we're seeing happening today. So injustice is the order of the day. And as the minister said, 7 billion people on our planet are upset, angry, and dissatisfied with those who lead and govern their lives and the institutions. See, he didn't just leave it singular. He said the institutions that have been put into place by various governments to govern the lives of the people of the planet Earth. See? This is what you got going on. This is what you got going on, family. So the minister is breaking it down so that we able to get a clear understanding of what we looking at. So we able to get a clear understanding of what we looking at, family. See? Appreciate you, Brother Nathan, for tapping in. Yeah, see, we got to bring that truth because this is what we seeing. So when you see what the brothers did in Memphis, Tennessee to our brother Tyre Nichols, this is a result of 100% dissatisfaction among the people. When you taxing the people unlawfully, when you raising the prices of food and gas and water and eggs and inflation is rising to unproportionate levels, and you putting this disproportionate amount of stress on the people become 100% dissatisfied. People are losing their minds out here. People are becoming more and more and more rebellious to the will of God each and every day, because this world that we've been living in for the past 6,000 years and we have been a part of for the last 400 years is coming to an end. It's coming to a close. And those who are in rulership are trying to keep it up with everything that they can, but it's falling apart at the seams. It's falling apart at the seams. So let's see. The minister says this. Got to get back to the words of the minister now, because the minister was on it. Got to get back to these words. See, divine guidance is necessary in a time like this. See, we can't just be getting words from anybody. We got to get words from somebody that got the juice that's backing them. The minister definitely got the juice. So what'd he say? Minister says this, right? This is continued. See, the only guidance that can help us, that can help us through this right now is divine guidance. See? And what you need is God's man and the word of God that can help you get up out of this situation. So we see what's going on, right? The minister said this intense cry for justice demands the presence of God, and we find him in the great Mahdi. Talk about the Mahdi real quick, brother minister. Or guide that is self-guided. That's what Mahdi stands for. Self-guided one. The poor Muslim world trying to get back on the pristine purity of the faith of Muhammad. You haven't made it, have you? And you won't make it because you are not guided right. That's why God sent a guide, because we've lost the way. Christians, you've lost the path of Jesus. In fact, most of you never knew his path. You know his name. You know something about his goodness, his beauty as a human being, and you love to praise him in song and dance and in preaching. But our hearts are far removed from living the life that he wanted us to live. So what good is it to know the name of a great one, to talk about him and then deny him in our actions? Every nation on earth now, if you listen to the politics of each nation, they're running on a theme or a plan about change to satisfy the dissatisfied elements. Watch out now. To satisfy the dissatisfied elements, but no change can satisfy the demand of the human family for justice. No change orchestrated by those presently in power could ever satisfy the cry of the people. Did you hear what the minister said? The minister said that there could be no change put in place by the current power structure, by the current leaders, by those who currently govern you today. They have no answer for what's going on. They have no answer for what is going on. So who has the answer? So the minister continues and said, is this. He says, you know why? You know why they don't have an answer? He says, because this cry is not a cry that comes out of some petty hurt or pain. It's not a cry to fix the unions. It's not a cry to straighten out the politics. It's not a cry to get the mosque right or the church right. It's so much deeper than that. The change that will satisfy the cry of humanity can only come not from any present ruler, but from God himself. Good God Almighty. From God himself. See, so you can't, it's not no cry, like the minister said, to fix the church or to fix the mosque. You're talking about 400 years of chattel, 310 years of chattel slavery. You're talking about another 100+ years of mental and systematic slavery. You talking about systematic oppression. You talking about redlining, black codes. You talking about the systematic annihilation of a people. You talking about cutting off people's language, people's culture, people's religion, people's God. All of this took place within 400 years. So you can't just come in running on some type of theme from the DNC or from the RNC talking about change and think that's going to correct the problems that have existed for 400 years, that permeated from the actions of Europeans that decided that they would kidnap a whole people and bring them here against their will to build their world. It's not going to work like that. It's not going to work like that, family. So the change that will satisfy the cry of humanity can only come not from any present ruler, but from God himself. No institution that presently exists can satisfy the people of the government. No government and no religious order. You know why? Because all of them have been defiled. All of them have been compromised. Yes, no religious order. Well, Brother King Cam, aren't you a Muslim? Aren't you a part of Islam? We are part of New Islam. Yes, I'm a Muslim, but we are part of New Islam. See, the teachings of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad, as taught and exemplified by the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, is New Islam. And that's kind of why we get into it with our brothers and sisters from the so-called Orthodox community, because they don't understand that what the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad was given by God himself is something new. That's why the scripture says that God will bring in something new. I make all things new. That includes the religious orders and the religious structures of the current and present world. They have to be made new. So, yes, we are bringing about new Islam, new Christianity. See? And as the minister said, no government, no religious order of this day that presently exists can satisfy the cry of the people. And we know that to be a statement of fact because you've had these governments, you've changed presidents, but you've had the same government, whether it was Republicans in power, Democrats in power, doesn't matter. Black president, white president, doesn't matter. Young president, old president, doesn't matter. You've had the church, you've had the mosque, you've had the masjid, you've had the Catholic Church. You've had it all presently. And it has not corrected or answered or satisfied the cry of the people. That's just a fact. So again, no religious order can satisfy the cry that is coming up out of the people. This is the minister's words. In your own order, much less the order of someone else. You know why? Because what is demanded out of the very nature of God and the nature and order of his creation that is inside the nature of the people that has been stirred now by the cry for justice. There's something in you that is crying out, and it cannot be met in the political arena or the voting booth. Now, you can vote for whoever you want for mayor, but it is an exercise in futility because you are never going to get what you think you might get if you put the right man in office. I don't care what his color is. He can't fix it because he doesn't know enough to solve the problems. The problems are too complex, and the cry continues to get stronger and stronger, family. And this is what you have going on. See, Trayvon Martin was back in 2012. Prior to Trayvon Martin, you had the Rodney King beating. You had stuff in between that. But then you had the Rodney King beating in the 90s. We had Emmett Till before that. So if these people that were coming into office in between now and then supposedly had the know-it-all to fix the problems, then we wouldn't continue to have these situations going on. You wouldn't continue to have a Trayvon and a Mike Brown and a Freddie Gray and a Sandra Bland and a Eric Gardner and a Sean Bell. And the list goes on and on and on and on. But if these people are supposed to know how to fix this, it's supposed to be by this time, after all them names that I just rolled off my tongue, somebody should have been able to put something in place to correct it. But it hasn't happened, family. So this is how you know what the minister's saying is actual facts. Straight truth. So now what do you do once truth finds you? What do you do once truth finds you? And you have to settle into the reality that everything that you thought was going towards a solution is null and void. You need to start over. You ever seen those movies where you got a creative or a scientist and they trying to put an idea together and they might write something up and then they ball up a piece of paper and throw it in the trash, and then they write something else up and then ball a piece of paper up, throw it in the trash because it's just not it. That's not working. That's what's happening. All the ideas that's currently in place, all the suggestions coming from the church, all the suggestions coming from the community activists, and the suggestions that come from the government and the police department, ball it up, throw it in the trash. Ball it up and throw it in the trash. You need new eyes. You need new wisdom. The minister said he don't care what color the person is that you put in office. He can't or she can't fix the problem because they don't know enough. The problems is too complex. It's gotten to a point now that you need a new wisdom that's going to help fix these problems. Conventional wisdom not going to fix these problems. You need new wisdom that's going to fix these problems. So the minister goes on to say, and I appreciate you all for hanging out with your brother. Please hit that comment section. Let me see what's going on. Let me know what city and state that you're tuning in from. Shout out to everybody. My brother Nathan Fields is in the building. Let me go ahead and put some of these comments up as we are moving through this, man. Shout out to everybody that's been tuning in. Add this to the broadcast. So, yeah, brother Nathan. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Appreciate you, brother. That's peace, black man. Not only I tap in, I share because I believe in the teachings of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad through the 5% Nation. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Peace to the gods. Appreciate you. Appreciate you, my brother. Appreciate you. Shout out to the YouTube family tapping in. So let's get back to this, man. I'm going to go ahead and land this plane in a second so we can get on up out of here. I know it's late. But I want to finish this because it's important. All right? Because our brother Tyre Nichols shouldn't have to meet a fate like that if we had the proper knowledge, if we had the proper guidance. But the minister said we become our own worst enemy. So that self-hate has built up to the point now that it's soothing out. And we unleashing that self-hate on those who look like us. Those 5 officers look just like Tyre Nichols. Tyre Nichols looked just like them. There was no need, 5 out of the 6 of them. There's no need for that to even take place. But it's because of what built up to that point is how we get here. That is not a random act of violence that takes place. It built up to that. So if we're not going to address the root, then what are we talking about? Because you can get rid of those 5 police officers. You can throw them in jail for life. That's not going to stop the problem that persists in the Memphis Police Department. That's not going to stop the problem that persists in Chicago PD or Baltimore PD. You understand? Or Atlanta PD. Not going to fix them issues because it's systematic. It's systemic. It's rooted heavily in the foundation. We just had protests here in Atlanta a couple of days ago because they're building something called Cop City. Look it up. It's something called Cop City, where it's a couple of 100 acres of land where they're going to be building facilities to continue to train police. See? So instead of addressing, and this is what the current leadership is going along with. I'm not going to say that they put it into place, but they're going along with it. They want to do more policing. As the minister said, they don't have the answer because they've been doing more policing. They been thought it was the solution to throw more police at it. They thought that in the 90s. Let's put more police on the street. Let's militarize the police. See? And we see today in 2023, that's not the answer. But they still moving forward with the same old thing. And that's goes right in line with the minister said. The problems are too complex. They don't know enough. So the mayor and the governor and the city council and all of them people right there, they don't know enough to fix this. That's why they keep doing the same exact things over and over. So the minister said that the people are crying out for the kingdom of God to be established on the earth. Well, what is the kingdom of God? That's true freedom, justice, and equality. That's all people asking for. They asking for, if they've been wrong, to be given justice. If they have something that's happening to them, they asking for there to be true and free and equal justice given to them, just like it will be given to anybody else. They asking to be treated as equals. They asking to move around and be free, which is a God-given right of theirs. This is what the kingdom of God is. This is not what we're experiencing today, though, family, and this is why the people are crying out. The minister says this is why God says through the book of Revelation, there will be a new heaven and a new earth, and the former things will pass away. Come on, brother minister. Say it again, brother minister. This is why God says through the book of Revelation, there will be a new heaven and a new earth, and the former things will pass away. That not only means there will be a new sun, a new moon, new stars. That is in the works now, but we will never live to see it for its billions of years in the future. But the God will perfect with the God, but the God with perfect knowledge is dissatisfied even with what we think is already perfect. So there will be a new sun and a new moon and a new star, but that is not what the scripture is talking about. A new heaven means a new spiritual order, a new political order governed by the spiritual order that will bring human beings together. Not on the basis of color of skin or ethnicity or biology, but on the basis of our desire to do what is right. So in my closing, family, this is what the minister is giving us guidance and insight into, that currently the leadership, the governments, the institutions, and those in place in power that's so supposed to govern the people's lives into freedom, justice, and equality, which is our God-given liberties, are not doing that and have not been doing that. So because they have not been doing that, God himself has come out of hiding to correct this whole system, that has been corrupted and defiled and have the people now 100% dissatisfied. So God has come out of hiding now to establish the kingdom of God, which will give people true freedom, true justice, true equality, so that they can live in harmony amongst one another. And this is not just, as the minister said, based on color of skin. It's not based on ethnicity or biology, but on the basis of our desire to do what is right. We could correct this whole thing if those in leadership and in power right now wanted and had the desire to do what was right. But they don't have the desire to do what is right. They have their own self-interest. And because their own self-interest conflicts with what the desire of the people are, which is freedom, justice, and equality, then this is where we having a hang-up at. You got some wicked people too that's just wicked outside of their own personal self-interest. But personal self-interest and wickedness are the driving forces behind why this has not been corrected. Why justice hasn't been given to the black man and black woman in America. Why injustice continues to befall upon black people in America is because people don't want to do the right thing. Judges don't want to do the right thing. Lawyers don't want to do the right thing. Politicians and presidents and senators and governors, they don't want to do the right thing. See? And because this country was established on the basis of the color of skin, that white was right and that black was in the back, and that blacks should be subjected to only servitude to whites. This is why we are where we are in 2023. That was the basis of the foundation of America. That whites were superior. Whites were better than blacks. That was the dominating idea. From that idea, you got all of your laws. You got your constitution, right? You got your Declaration of Independence. You got all of that stuff coming out of that mindset that whites are better than blacks. And because that's the mindset which gave birth to all of the laws that you have that govern the land, that was the foundation for all the institutions of government, the institutions of business, the institutions of learning, and the religious houses. This is why you see the continued unfair treatment of the black man and black woman in America. And because we were raised by the slave master and the slave master children, they created a divide among us. As I mentioned earlier in the program, they created a divide among us that had us to hate ourselves. Because now we're not even on the same page as to what we want to do. We don't know what freedom is from one day to the next. Everybody got their own idea of freedom, so they split up our own minds. We're not one mind anymore, family. That's why you hear people say, well, black people are not a monolith. That means we're not of one mind. You got people that do all types of stuff within the black diaspora. And because the enemy has came among us, right, and told lies, made mischief and told lies, and caused the righteous to fight and kill one another, then this is what you have going on today. See, so you don't have to have a bunch of white officers beating up black people if that's not what they want to do, because they got black officers that's going to do it. They got black officers that have adopted the mind of the devil. See? Which is one who's rebellious to God. Let me pull that up. Let me pull that up so y'all can check that out. So y'all don't think I'm just picking on white folks. And then we're going to go ahead and close this down, right? Let me show y'all this, because the minister got into this heavy. He broke this down right here. Pull this up right here. Boom, 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 boom. So I appreciate y'all for hanging out with your brother. Let me see. It's up in here somewhere. Scholars. Look at this, man. Look at this. The minister got into it at. Trying to find, and the minister actually spoke on exactly that particular piece about the devil, and I wanted to quote it straight from his lips. That's what I'm looking for. Boom, boom, boom. Okay. Okay, here we go. I think it's up in here. Okay, I can't find it right now, but you get the picture. Oh, hold up. Here we go. I think this is it. All right, I think this is it right here. Where the minister says, as it was, Matthew 24:37 teaches, in the days of Noah, so shall it be at the coming of the Son of Man. Is it like that today? What was it like in the days of Noah? The scripture teaches us in the book of Genesis, chapter 6, verse 5, that every imagination of the people's hearts was to do evil. How about America today? A robbery every 15 seconds, a murder every 30 seconds, murder, robbery, rape, and racist killing, and our own fratricidal conflict killing one another. This doesn't have anything to do with Jesus. It doesn't have anything to do with Muhammad, Prophet Muhammad. I know my president, Brother Barack Obama, was trying to keep away from saying Islamic terrorism. And today I want to help my brother. I want to talk about the root of terror. And I have a word to say to you, brothers and sisters, about terrorism and the universal cry that is intensifying in the people for justice. I hate the division that is manifested in the world today, particularly in the world of Islam, where we are witnessing the killing of Christians, and because they are Christians, the killing of Jews because they are Jews, and those who kill Muslims simply because we are Muslims. I would like to say those things that unite us, to say the things that will make us see each other as family, and to say those things that will demonstrate to the world that God raised a light in the midst of the darkness of America that shines back towards the east where all the prophets came. So let me see. I thought it was up in there, but I'm not seeing it, family. But either way it go, family, the mindset is what makes you a devil, not the color of your skin. So don't get caught up in color. As you can see, I'm still looking for it, but as you can see, family, don't get caught up in the color of your skin, because them people in Memphis look just like us. Them officers in Memphis look just like us. See? So we can't get caught up in that, thinking that, oh, it's just white people. No. See, they done made us into themselves. So now we've taken on that mind. And now we can execute the way that they execute. See, when you take on the mind of a devil, right? One who's rebellious to God, then you can act like a devil, one who is rebellious to God. So now when you come across the righteous, or you come across anybody, your whole purpose is to take them away and off the path of God. It's your whole purpose. And then on top of it, not only do you do your own devilment with yourself, but then you graduate to satanic mindset when you start to gather other people and turn them into devils. See? When you start to now be the leader of devilish behavior, you graduated into a satanic mindset, family. You graduated into a satanic mindset at that point. All right? So, yes, what happened with our brother Tyre definitely had white supremacy all over it. Had white supremacy all over it, family. But even more so, self-hate was an extreme factor in this situation. And until we sit down and reason with the truth that the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan has been giving us for the past 60 years, and truly take into consideration what the minister has been saying, we're going to be like hamsters on the wheel. All these other activists out here, all these politicians out here, all these people who have the spirit to do good and want to see our people treated fairly, you need to come and sit at the feet of the minister. You need to put the pride to the side. You need to put the pride away. It's not about Muslims and Christians and doctrine and ideology and none of that foolishness that keeps us divided. We need to be thinking about how we could come together and get whatever knowledge and wisdom that we need necessary in order for us to solve our problems, family. So I appreciate you all for tuning in tonight, checking in with your brother. I know we started late, but I wanted to get this out because I felt like it was extremely necessary. I appreciate brother Tom Whitlock. Yeah, Christ will bring full justice. That's a fact. The Christ will definitely bring full justice. See? The scripture says, think not that I come to bring peace. Brother Tom? Nay, a sword. See? When the Christ come back, he come back at the head of 10,000 now. The Christ come back at the head of 10,000. You understand me? So the Christ don't come back to bring peace. See, it said he come back with a sword, dripping with blood now. Yeah. But you got to get with the right man at the right time. See? Our slave masters had us thinking about Jesus historically, 2,000 years ago. And when your mind is stuck back 2,000 years ago, family, then you won't be able to recognize the Jesus that's in our midst today. See, the Quran says that every nation received a messenger. And as the minister mentioned earlier in that Final Call article, that America was not around at the time of Prophet Muhammad. America was not around at the time of Jesus, 2,000 years ago. So those prophets of that day could not have been the end all be all of messengers that would come to a nation, because this nation had not been formed. The West had not been formed, so the West needs a messenger. And we humbly submit to you today that that messenger who brought us this new Islam is the most honorable Elijah Muhammad. And the one who has most exemplified that in our midst today is the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. And that's what we need to be tapping into, family. I know. You thought it was your favorite pastor. What's going on, Brother Roy X? Shout out to Vegas in the building. I know you thought it was your favorite pastor. You thought it was, your favorite evangelist. You thought it was your man and all of that. But it's all good. It's all good, because at the end of the day, as long as they submit the truth, we good with everybody. Long as you submit the truth and are working to do God's will and not striving to bring about strife and disunity, we good to go. It don't even matter, family. So, but let's move those egos out the way so that we can do this work. So I appreciate y'all for tuning in again. I'm your host, your brother King Cam. And y'all make sure that y'all follow the podcast, follow all of my social media platforms. Shout out to my Facebook family who shared, who commented, who shared this out. Shout out to the YouTube family who tapped in, who subscribed to the channel. Smash the subscribe button and the like button, family, and hit the bell so you can stay notified each and every time you drop a video. Shout out to the Twitter army, to my Twitter family. We growing over there. You know what I mean? We're not able to go live on Instagram yet, but shout out to the Instagram family. Follow me on all those social media platforms. I certainly appreciate you, brothers and sisters. And until next time, peace and blessings. Assalamu alaikum.
Any leadership that teaches you to depend upon another race is a leadership that will enslave you. Any leadership that teaches you to depend upon another race is a leadership that will enslave you. They gave leadership to our foreparents, and that leadership made them slaves. But we have decided to find a leadership of our own.
Not your average nigga, I'm a god out the hood. They can't downplay me, I came up, I'm elevated. I ain't gotta say too much for them to know I'm coming for what's mine. You know they see me in my presence, say they see how I'm coming. Young, but you not just gonna finesse me like you did my peoples. Then back when you said they was emancipated. This ain't that. Your head too big, you feeling yourself. The game wasn't fair, you had the advantage, we wasn't educated. I don't look at you people the same. Your worst nightmare, my skin tone about them chains. Not no circus lion, son, I can't be tamed. You gon' have to kill me, pussy, Toby ain't my name. Y'all still want us think our history started when we were slaves?